Hi guys, so me and Kieran and Tia have set ourselves a challenge to see how cheap we can restore a crash damaged car and get it back on the road again. Me and Kieran have gone ahead and bought our first project.
Project 500.
Project 500. So after a discussion, me and Kieran sort of come to the conclusion the best sort of cheapest way of doing this would be getting a relatively cheap car to fix in the first place, which Fiat 500, parts are cheap, there's abundances of them on the road, so we know getting second-hand parts isn't too much of an issue.
Easy, yeah.
And we'll see how easy it is to get one back on the road.
There she is. Right, so what we've got is a crash damaged Fiat 500. Cat S, we don't know why yet. S is obviously structural, but we'll see. We've got obviously wing damage, bumper damage, headlights all smashed.
A bit messy.
Wheels gone back. So we've got some suspension components, we've got drive shaft, we've got a wishbone.
So interestingly, we picked this up pretty cheap. We're going to give you a full price breakdown towards the end of this video. But one of the reasons we bought it was because it said clutch gone. But it turns out it doesn't need a clutch.
No, it's just a snap drive shaft.
Snapped a drive shaft. They sort of fell apart.
They fell apart?
Yeah. We've gone ahead and ordered a few bits and pieces which we can get started on today. Obviously we're going to service it, cam belt kit. Going to put 2 top mount kits on as well because they're rotted through. It's quite a common fault on these Fiats, which I'll show you now. These are the top mounts. This is what happens to them basically. They just rot away and end up like that, which is horrible. So we don't want that because that's going to create a hell of a noise going down the road. So we're going to switch them out as well. We've got headlight, drive shaft as well. We'll explain why we need that in a minute, because at first we saw the graffiti across the windscreen of clutch gone, so obviously I went ahead and ordered a clutch for it, but on closer inspection this drive shaft has actually snapped and come out of the gearbox, so that's why it's not got drive. So it doesn't actually need a clutch fit, but we'll show you that now as well. Won the lottery this.
So on further inspection, Z drive shaft CV joint is, well, as you can see, cream crackered, come apart.
So this is the reason why
We've got no drive.
Yeah, so why it's got no clutch.
Obviously,
written across the
co-part, they're not very observant. Is that meant to be like that? I don't think it is. It's not a dog bone. So yeah, lower arm. So subframe all looks okay.
Subframe looks fine actually.
Yeah. Rip it apart and see what we've got.
Done. Looks better already. We were just saying it's just had front disc and pads put on this, obviously just before it got crashed, but whoever's fitted this caliper has twisted it round too much. So we're going to have to sort this out as well.
Right, so now we're getting the wing off. As you can see, they seal the wings on, which is great because they also seal around all the bolts. So that's great help. So we've got to try and peel it off, and hopefully the new one isn't damaged.
So another thing, when you replace the front lower arms on the Fiat 500, you actually have to take these cross members out, which I've unbolted, because the bolt is hidden under there.
So obviously, because we are doing this as a budget, how cheap can you? We're hoping our new wing has been taken off a bit more carefully than I am this one. You can see, we don't want the new one all bent up, otherwise it's not going to fit. So yeah, I'm just going to rip this one off.
There he is, look. Let's get this whole shaft out. Just going to sort this mess of a brake hose out quickly. which is a very straightforward, easy fix. Literally just untwist the brake hose by spinning it round and popping it back on again. There we go, look. Sweet.
Done. Another job.
Got the second-hand shaft in and the brand new lower arm, that's all in. Just going to gun the hub nut up now.
And we should have drive.
And we should have drive now. So I've just topped up the gearbox oil because we lost a bit obviously when we changed the drive shaft. Just got to put the cross member back in the front here and then we can come down and see if we've got drive.
Right, so last parts of the service. Alex is doing air filter.
We go ahead and put the new air filter in.
I'm doing the important bit, leveling the oil. Can only go one way.
So just going to whip the plugs out as well. They're a pain in the arse. Yes.
So we've got genuine Fiat, can you see it? Spark plugs, which means they've probably never been changed. But the air filter has, so all good.
It's had an oil change.
Simple car maintenance.
If you can sort of make that out, you can see the tip of the spark plug is worn away drastically, which would indicate they haven't been changed in a long time.
Can we do a comparison?
Yeah, and also another telltale sign is the amount of rust around the top of the plug here. That's a new one. And that's an old one. You can see
the width difference, yeah.
Tip.
Yeah, so the best way to explain it is this part here is like a flint on a lighter and it just wears away, and that is properly worn, and this one's a big difference, but it's quite hard to focus. But take my word for it anyway.
Another reason why people don't tend to change these spark plugs is because you need a special tool which has got a wobble head on it to actually get into the angle of where the plugs are in the head, in the cylinder head. On these Fiats, there's a little tiny pipe here which goes to the back of the throttle body. Nice to remember to put it back on. The amount of times I get one of these and nobody ever puts it back on. Top tip.
It's quite tight in there as well, isn't it?
It is. There's a knack to it. We're just gonna run the engine up now and see if we have drive as well. Oh my goodness me, there we go. So we have cured the no clutch fault, as you can see. We've got drive for both wheels now. So clutch has not gone.
Trying to tie it up, but...
Oh look, Johnny Depp. Blimey, that's got some horrific seat covers in it, which all need coming off as well.
Some wipe down.
See if it works then.
Like the mirror. There's the pedal.
Oh yes. Look at that.
As you can see, we've already started stripping the Fiat down. We've got the wing off, we've got the bumper off. Obviously the headlight was already totally smashed out. We've got some panel damage here. We call this in the trade a trumpet panel. I don't know if that's technically right, but that's what we call it. We've got a second-hand one, so we're gonna de-spot this original one, de-spot the second-hand one we've got, and then we're gonna weld it all back on. So all the scut will be removed, front panel will be just pulled away, and we'll de-spot along here and spot the new one back on.
So far, the car has cost us, the original bid which we put in to purchase this car was £325. But after you've put all of the co-part fees in, which there's a lot.
Sorry, I pricked my finger with this fucking thing.
What is that?
Bit of welding wire I was playing with. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so there's lots of co-part fees. For example, there's a buyer fee of £103, a virtual bid fee of £25, lot retrieval fee £40, VAT charges £33.60, delivery, which we got it delivered to us, which come in at £165.82, more VAT charges,
Bloody
wallet
VAT.
Convenience.
What? What the hell is that?
I have no idea that was, but that was £8.71, whatever that cost was. That's probably the cost to get you to open your wallet. VAT charges on that and the whole payment. So the car actually owes us, as it stands, for just purchasing it and getting it here. This is excluding any parts, but we're going to get onto the parts list next week. The total is £736.03, which it's cost us. So
that's just buying the car and, like you say, getting it here.
Yeah, I mean, we don't think you can buy that cheap from Copart, really.
It's the cheapest we've found.
Yeah,
you know.
I think if you're going to be bidding, you know, around the 300 quid mark to get cars like this, it's where you want to be, because if you start going up higher than that, you know, you're then getting into a lot bigger costs. And if you want to resell something like this, we're estimating this is only going to be worth maybe £2,500 to £3,000, somewhere within that.
Very limited profit margin.
So that things are very, very tight. And there's a couple of bits we've noticed which we didn't know we were going to have to order as well. But we'll go through that next week. But we think we're going to be all right on this one, but we'll find out anyway, and we'll do a full parts list at some point in the next episode. Join us back next week.
Like, comment, subscribe.